The Senate is on a warpath with social media enthusiasts, and the battle is going to be fascinating to watch. I'm Linda Akibe, and you're welcome to the Gavel. The Senate on December 1st passed into second reading a bill to prohibit frivolous petitions. Now, the bill, according to lawmakers, is intended to deter Nigerians from putting together frivolous petitions which may not be true, and in the process smear not only public officials but also Nigerians in general. However, the bill also seeks 2 years imprisonment with an option of 2 million naira fine for any Nigerian who posts abusive statements on social media. Now, when news of the proposed bill hits the streets, many Nigerians were displeased, saying the bill, if passed into law, would undermine the internationally recognized right to freedom of expression and press freedom on the internet in Nigeria. The social media, an arena with open arms where everyone is welcome to interact, keep in touch, socialize, share ideas, or simply vent. No topic is off limits, social, political, and religious, and with just a click, a statement, thought, news, or opinion goes viral and can be accessed by a huge number of people. Many Nigerians access news and information from the social media. However, because the social media is unregulated, it's not clear how accurate some of the news stories in social media are. The Senate on Wednesday passed into second reading a bill seeking 2 years imprisonment with an option of 2 million naira fine for any Nigerian who posts abusive statements on social media. The bill, which was sponsored by the Deputy Majority Leader, Senator Bala Ibn Nala, states that any person who unlawfully uses, publishes, or caused to be published any petition, complaint, not supported by a duly sworn affidavit shall be deemed to have committed an offence, and upon conviction shall be liable to an imprisonment for 6 months without an option of fine. It further states that any person through text message, tweets, or through social media posts any abusive statement knowing same to be false with intent to set the public against any person or group of persons, an institution of government, or such other bodies established by law shall be guilty of an offence, and upon conviction shall be liable to an imprisonment of 2 years or a fine of 2 million naira, or both fine and imprisonment. When the news of the proposed law hit the social media, the reactions poured in. Many Nigerians in several social media platforms criticized the bill. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has appealed to the United Nations to urgently request the National Assembly of Nigeria, specifically the Senate, to withdraw the bill. The civil society organization stated that the bill, if passed into law, would undermine the internationally recognized right to freedom of expression and press freedom on the internet in Nigeria. Mr. Musiliu Mujid works with an online news media. He says the proposed law is unnecessary.
As far as I'm concerned, I think it's just a waste of time, a waste of effort, a waste of resources of this country. How do you regulate social media? How do you do that? And already Nigeria has quite a lot of repressive media laws. You can sue for libel, you can sue for defamation. There is a cyber terrorism law which has just been passed. Whatever infraction there is in the media, there are laws that can deal with that. So why the duplication?
Not to be deterred, federal lawmakers, at the continuation of legislative proceedings on Thursday, insisted that some Nigerians are using the social media to harass public officials.
While I celebrate the social media as one of their major actors, this Senate should not be blackmailed, cowed, on the integrity of the Senate. The Senate is a sacred, hallowed chamber. The bill moved yesterday by Senator Ibn Nala have been misconstrued by these same people. And this Senate must not keep quiet because this can have a negative concomitant effect even on democracy itself.
The privilege in this country or elsewhere where people just wake up one time because of the development and the advancement in ICT to set up social media and start writing all sorts of things without holding them responsible. The Freedom of Information and the Cybercrime Act that we passed, these two laws need to be looked into with the view to addressing these abuses. Because there are so many instances. The one that distinguished Senator Dino brought today is just one instance. I am calling on the Ethics and Privileges Committee to do a thorough job, look at our laws, invite all that needs to be invited, and in fact find out how do people just go online. At one time, one of the online magazines accused me because I'm known to. We have many Goza people or people from my constituency that are involved in transportation, buying golf cars for them, and I was one of the online magazines come out to say that I'm buying 400 golf cars for Boko Haram use. That it went to that extent, and it's very serious. Mr. President, we are no making body, we are an arm of government. We have a responsibility of making laws to hold people responsible for the actions they take.
It is the biggest thing that has happened to us. It has helped us in our elections. It has helped us to disseminate information. But the major problem has been the people who do not have any laid down rule as to what to do on the social media. And they call themselves pressmen. I have been a journalist all my life, and the major and important tenet of that profession is that you must be fair to all concerned. But on this issue, nobody is fair to anybody. In fact, I've read stories about myself that I had asked people whose stories were written because I never participated in anything that was reported.
The Senate has referred the matter to its committees on ethics, communication, ICT and cybercrime to investigate and report back in 4 weeks. Let's take a look at the highlights in the House of Representatives during the week. The House of Representatives has waded into the controversial directive given by the University of Nsukka that students of the institution should pay a compulsory 75,000 naira laptop fee. It will be recalled that the university administration recently introduced a mandatory policy wherein all the students must own a laptop. A federal lawmaker, Representative Bashir Babali, drew the attention of the lower chamber to this issue, which made headlines across the country. He said the policy is arbitrary, inhuman, and would make access to education difficult for the people.
Worried that the management of some tertiary institutions across the country are making it difficult for Nigerians who want to further their studies through the introduction of exorbitant fees and other charges. Further disturbed that the management of University of Nigeria in Nsukka has introduced compulsory payment of 75,000 naira as laptop fee to its new students. Further worried and disturbed that the students find it very difficult to cope with this situation.
The lawmaker further decried the situation where some tertiary institutions in the country solely depend on the students for the general running of the overhead costs of the schools.
This is a country whereby just last 2 or 3 weeks, the state governors stated that they cannot afford to continue to pay a minimum wage of 18,000 naira. How dare on earth a university management would impose on students to pay 75,000 naira before they pursue their studies as a fresh student?
The motion was adopted without further debate by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, and referred to the relevant House committees on education for further legislative action. Meanwhile, the absence of the anti-corruption network, which petitioned the House of Representatives against the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, over allegations of corruption, stalled a hearing on the matter. The hearing was organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Public Petitions. The petition was laid before the House on November 10 by the Chairman, House Committee on Army, Honorable Shawulu Kwewum, before being referred to its Committee on Ethics for further action. The committee was, however, forced to adjourn the investigative hearing to the 9th and 10th of December, citing the need to give the petitioner a chance to defend himself, as well as in line with the principle of fair hearing. The Anti-Corruption Network had in the petition alleged that the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Mohammed Adoke, had recommended 2 persons, among who was the current CCT chairman, to be arrested and investigated for alleged corruption. Although the chairman of the CCT was in attendance at the hearing, committee members appealed that in the practice of fair hearing and transparency, it would not be proper to allow the respondent to make any presentation without giving the petitioner the opportunity to be heard.
The petition was properly laid, defined address, we'll serve them notice, the proof is here. We will request that petitioners be available to defend or prosecute or substantiate their petition. It may not be worthwhile to ask the respondents to go on because the petitioners may need to hear them so that we seem to be flowing along. So on that note, I think the matter may have to be adjourned and we'll give the petitioner opportunity to come, so we'll also be seen to be satisfying the issue of fair hearing.